Okay, let's mark this. So they said that it's the probability of going to the movies and going to a restaurant. The probability of movies is 0.7, the probability of a restaurant is 0.8, and the probability of movies and a restaurant is 0.6. Always start in the middle, and when you work your way out, you have to subtract. So that 0.7 can't be written into movies. You're going to have to say 0.7 minus 0.6 to get 0.1. And 0.8 minus 0.6 to get 0.2. And when you add these three, you get 0.9. Therefore, the one on the outside is 0.1. Did you get your Venn diagram right? Okay, and then the probabilities that they asked for. Let me just get the questions. Okay, the probability that he won't go to a movie or a restaurant, it's 0.1, it's that one on the outside. The probability that he will only go to a movie is 0.1 again, that part. The probability that he will only go to a restaurant, 0.2. The probability that he won't go to a movie is going to be 0.2 plus 0.1 is 0.3. The probability that he won't go to a restaurant is 0.1 and 0.1, which is 0.2. The probability that he will either go to the one or the other, that will be everything in the circles, and that's 0.9. Do you all understand? Did you get it right? Okay. The next one, they didn't give you a situation, they just said the probability of A is 0.35, the probability of B is 0.8, the probability of A and B is 0.25. Start in the middle, subtract to get on the outside. When you add these three, you'll see it gives you 0.9, so there's a 0.1 not accounted for that has to go on the outside. There it is. Then they ask you to calculate the probability of A or B. Now you can do that by saying 0.1 plus 0.25 plus 0.55, or if you use the formula, which I did because I wanted to get used to using the formula, because sometimes you're not going to have the Venn diagram, you're only going to have a formula. Now the formula for of with an inclusive event is the probability of the one plus the probability of the other one minus the probability of the one and the other one. Do you recognize this formula? Do you know it? It goes with inclusive. And then you also get 0.9. The probability of not A and B. Now not A and B means that it must be true for both. And if I go and look at what is not A, then everything not in a circle is not A. So this is not A, these two. And B. Now between these two, only 0.55 is B. Therefore, because it has to go for both of them, it's only going to be 0.55. Do you understand that? The next one is the probability of not A or B. So not A is 0.55 and 0.1. That's not A. And B is 0.25 and 0.55. Now because they say or, it must just be at the one or the other. So therefore not A, 0.55 and 0.1, and B, 0.25 and 0.5. It's your class again. I added the same problem the previous period. Those friends of yours. 0.25 plus 0.55 plus 0.1, and then it's 0.9. The probability of not A and B. So A and B is 0.25. So not A and B will be the others. 0.1 plus 0.55 plus 0.1, which is 0.75. The probability of not A or B. A or B. Now A or B is the two circles. So everything in those two circles is 0.9. So not A or B is going to be 0.1. before? Did they say biology and maths there? Okay, the probability for biology is 50, for maths is 68, biology and maths is 32. The total is 130 learners. So you start in the middle, subtract to the outside, and then the difference is 44 that has to be on the outside. Do you understand that one? It's very easy. Okay, so the probability that you choose a learner that has biology is going to be 50 out of 130, and biology and mathematics is going to be 32 over 150. Do you understand? Okay. I want to give you time in class to do number 6 and 7 now, and then, but you have to hurry, because these ones, they don't take long. Okay? You make your summary of the information you have and then you do it, but before you do it, I quickly want to show you number 5's Venn diagram. This is not a Venn diagram that they will usually ask you in a test, but I want to show it to you so that you understand if they give you one and they ask you questions from it, that it is very easy. They say there are 30 learners in a grade 11 class, so that's a total. I put it on the outside. 16 of them are girls, and 7 of the girls and 6 of the boys have blue eyes. A learner is chosen to be the class captain. That's what a monitor is. So when I look at this, it seems like there is more than 2 events, but there's not 2 events. Okay. When you choose, if I choose someone in the class to be the class monitor or the class captain, it can either be a boy or a girl. Okay. That boy or girl can have specific features, like blue eyes or brown eyes or brown hair or black hair or blonde hair or whatever the case might be. But when we look at the 2 outcomes, it can either be a boy or it can be a girl. Do you agree with me? So therefore we know it's mutually exclusive. It's a boy and it's a girl. Okay, now when we want to show the girls with blue eyes in these Venn diagrams, they're not going to cross each other either, but inside of the Venn diagram you're going to make a new circle to show that there is something specific about the type of children that you get there. So they said it's 16 girls, but 7 have got blue eyes. So how many girls will not have blue eyes? 9. And they say 6 of the boys have blue eyes. So how many boys are there in total? The total is 30. There are 16 girls. So how many boys? 14. 6 of them have got blue eyes. So 8 don't have blue eyes. And then that's the whole set up, kids set up in a Venn diagram. And that's all there is to it. So now the question is, determine the probability that the class monitor will be a girl. 16 out of 30. The probability that it will be a boy with blue eyes. 6 out of 30. Probability that it will be the child will not have blue eyes. So we're going to add those 2, it's 13 there, and then we just subtract them, or you add those 2 and then it's 17 out of 30. The probability that it will be a girl without blue eyes, 9 out of 30. So that's the way you use it. Okay, so it's very simple, but it's never been asked because there's not really anything happening. Can you see that? That's why it's not really asked. Okay, so you can now use the time to do question 6 and question 7, but I'm only going to give you a few minutes. How much time do you need? 15 minutes, is that fine? Okay, 15 minutes, and then we have to look at the tables, and then we're going to start with the revision activity, okay? Okay, quickly do number 6. Ne? They say 80 learners in total, or 80 athletes. They say 6 entered for the 100, the 200 and the 400. Look there in your book so you see if you agree with me. 21 didn't enter for any of the items. We know where that one's going to go, ne? We also already know where 6 is going to go. Okay, then they say 10 entered for the 100 and the 200, 11 entered for the 200 and the 400, and then there's a bit of a difficult sentence. They say of the 21 that entered for the 100 meters. So that means there's 21 in total that entered for the 100 meters. So the whole circle should be 21. Okay? That's a one piece of information. Of the 21 that entered for the 100 meters, 10 entered for nothing else. 10 entered for nothing else. So I wrote there at my summary, 10, 100 meter only. Okay. And then there's 21 in total for the 100 meter. And then the last part's easy, 27 entered for the 400 meter. There you go. Okay. Come, why are you done? I'm done marking. I'm not going to give you the test. I don't have power for the tears today. I told the Afrikaans class as well, I could see that there are many learners not doing their homework. Because it's plain stuff. And then I don't catch you when you don't do your homework because it's easy to copy from someone. Very easy. Or just doing something to get it done so you don't get our homeworks done. But it's not so much in your class that I can see kids not doing their homework. In the Afrikaans class a lot. Like finding the median but not even arranging the data. That's not, what can I explain to you about that? And there are some of you who are absent a lot too. I can see you were absent a lot. Not catching up. I will hand out the test once we're done with probability. So are you seriously telling me you've spent now 5 minutes instead of doing the work that I've asked you talking about the test? Oh man. Are you done with the Venn diagram? Can I show mine? Do you agree with the first three values I put in there? Okay, then I've got the 10 of 400 and 200, but I'm going to have to subtract, so it's 4. Then I've got the 11 for 200 and 400, but I have to subtract, so it's 5. Then I've got 10 for only 100 meters, so it goes in there. Do you agree with that? Okay, then I've got 21 in total for 100 meter. So it's 21 minus 10 minus 4 minus 6. So there has to be a 1 to give me the 21 for 100 meters. Then I have 27 for the 400 meter. But 27 minus 1 minus 6 minus 5 will give me 15 there. Do you understand? And then to find that missing one there, I say 80 minus 21 minus 15 minus 5 minus 6 minus 4 minus 1 minus 10, and it gives me 18. You happy with that? Who got it right? Okay. The rest of you, do you see your mistakes? Major, minor mistakes. Okay, once we have that, to answer the questions is pretty easy. B asked how many athletes entered for the 200 meters. So that will be in total. Okay, so when you add 18, 4, 6, 5, it gives you 33. And then what's the probability that the athlete chosen will compete in at least 2? So at least 2 means 2 or less, ne? No? At least 2 means 2 or more. Okay, so therefore it will be 1, 4, 6, and 5. And it will be 16 over 80. Okay, you can start with number 7 as well. It's about a candidate who has registered for a seminar, and there's classes about shares, retirement, and debt. Shares, retirement, and debt. Make your summary with all the information. When I did it, I tried to indicate for myself where they use the word and, to put in the and, because remember that and has a meaning, ne? And where they say or, that I use the bucky, ne? Because that one also has meaning. Can we mark? Can we start with it? Okay. So I'm going to start in the middle. I look for an and for all three. And there's a 15. That's shares, retirement, and debt. So that one goes in the middle of 15 right there. There's 200 people in total. Everyone happy? Okay, next up, I'm going to look at the 2 for and. So 23 is shares and debt. Shares and debt is 23, so it means it's that part, but there's already a 15, so that one's going to be 8. Then I've got 35 for shares and retirement. So 35 minus 15, it gives me 20. Then they give me the totals for the 3, so I'm going to go back to that now. They also give me 190 for or. Can I use that now? What does or mean? Everything in the circles, no? Okay, so if everything in the circle is 190 but the total is 200, don't you agree I can use something there? I can put a 10 on the outside. Okay, do you understand that? Okay. Then I've got something here. The X is for debt and retirement, but not shares. Now let's just specify where this is. It's somewhere with debt and retirement. Eh? If that only said it's for debt and retirement, you would have to say X minus 50. Do you understand that? Because this whole cut is for debt and retirement. But now they're saying it's for debt and retirement, so this part, but not shares. And therefore it gets rid of that middle part that's got all three of them in there. Is that clear? So therefore this whole thing is X. Okay, now I go to the outside. For shares, I've got all three, I just need the one. So I'm going to say 107 minus 8 minus 15 minus 20, that gives me 64. Do you agree with that? Okay, with retirement I've got 90, but I can only subtract the 20 and the 25 and then I'm stuck. But it's still the same variable. So it's not really a problem, eh? 90 minus 20 minus 15, it gives me 55 minus x. And then for debt, I've got 63. That's for the whole debt. So it's 63 minus 8 minus 15, so it gives me 40 minus x. And now I've got my Venn diagram. So the first question after drawing the Venn diagram is to calculate the value of x. Now the value of x is 12. How would I calculate that? Who has a plan for me? Moana, try?
This is a 40 minus x plus 55 minus x is equal to 0. Should I do, I think when I add everything on the circles and then
Okay, if you take everything in the circles equal to 190, then you solve for x. If you take everything in the whole Venn diagram equal to 200, solve for x. Do you understand, Kuma? Because this or is 190 if you only take the circles, and everything together is 200. Okay, so you're going to say, let's take the 200 just for the sake of it. On the right hand side you'll have 200 minus 10 minus 55 minus 20 minus 15 minus 40 minus 8 minus 64. Do you understand why? On the other side you'll have minus x plus x, 0, minus x. So you'll have minus x on the one side, minus 12 on the other side, and therefore x is equal to 12. Then see how many candidates didn't register for any one of the three. 10. How many candidates registered for retirement and debt but not shares? So that's the x value, no? Retirement and debt but not shares, so it's 12 again. And then what's the probability that you will choose someone that registered for at least 2? At least 2. So it's going to be the ones that registered for 2, 8, 12 and 20, and the one that registered for 3, because at least 2 is 2 or more. So that gives me 55 over 200. Antoinette, can I quickly borrow your textbook? Please, thank you. Okay. Now, before we are going to do the revision activity, I want you to look here. It's the contingency tables, but I want you to see that it's only for enrichment. So I want you to understand how it works. If, for example, they give you a contingency table and you have to answer questions from the contingency table. Okay. They won't ask you necessarily to draw one from scratch. They can maybe give you a contingency table and then leave spaces open, and you will have to calculate the open values. So I think it's pretty obvious when we have a contingency table, we have information on the total number of people. This is now about people going to a gym. But then it's also given more specifically for the number of men and the number of women. So those people that use the gym regularly add up to 220. The ones that don't use the gym regularly, 110 plus 40 adds up to 150. The total 180 plus 190 adds up to 370. The number of men add up, the number of women add up. Do you understand that? So it all adds up. Okay. So now they are asking, calculate the probability that a member selected at random from the sample of 370 members uses the gym regularly. Now I want you to close the answers, okay? Or you can look at on the table on the board. What's the probability that a member selected at random uses the gym regularly? So how many people use the gym regularly? 220. And how many are there in total? So the probability will be 220 over 370. That's easy enough, né? Because they were referring to the number of people. The next question says, uses the gym regularly given that the member is a woman. Okay, so if I want to know what's the probability of choosing someone who uses the gym regularly, but it has to be a woman, would I include the men? Not at all. So how many women uses the gym regularly? How many women are there in total? So it's 150 over 190. Do you understand? Doesn't use the gym regularly given that the member is a man. So we're going to look at the woman? No. So it's going to be 110 over 180. Okay, so I want you to take your textbook, write contingency table. There is the spelling on page 263. And when you're done writing that heading, you can just write exercise 5. We're just going to do number 2. Number 1. Okay. We're just going to do question 1 together. Then you can start with the revision exercise. Okay. A school investigated a number of learners who arrived at school on time, arrived late, and were absent during a particular week. The results are recorded in the following table. There were 100 learners. Okay, on time, late, absent, and then the total for boys, for girls, and for everyone together. Calculate the probability of a learner arriving late for school. So are they asking about boys or girls? No, learners. So what's the probability of a learner arriving late for school? 25 over 100. Write down the answer. 1A, 25 over 100. Which is a quarter, ne? B. Calculate the probability of a learner arriving on time. You can write down. C. Calculate the probability of a learner being absent if the learner is a boy. 7 over 65. Calculate the probability of a learner arriving on time if the learner is a girl. Write down. E. Calculate the probability of a learner arriving late or being absent. 35 over 100. Calculate the probability of a learner arriving late or being absent if the learner is a boy. $25. No? Calculate the probability of a learner, yeah. 25 over? Good. Okay, now, this is not a question here, but they can ask you, what's the probability of the learners that are late, that the learner will be a boy? What's the probability of choosing a learner, let me just, of a boy being a learner that's late? What's the probability of a boy being a learner that's late? 18 over what? What's the probability of choosing a boy or getting a boy that was late, not a girl? Getting a boy and not a girl. It's going to be 18 over 25 because now we're only referring to the learners that are late and we want to know what's the probability that it's a boy. Do you understand that? What's the probability of choosing a girl from the learners that are on time? 25 out of 65. You understand that? Okay, that's it. Now you've got 20 minutes left in this period. I want you to do the revision exercise. Now the revision exercise will have 3 diagrams and Venn diagrams. But they're not specifying when it's a 3 diagram and when it's a Venn diagram. You know how to know the difference, eh? We've spoken about this. So you're going to do number 1, 2 and 3 for me for tomorrow. Then tomorrow we're going to do number 4 and 5. And then we're going to look at the exam question paper type of questions that we're going to get. Okay. So 1, 2 and 3. I don't want to tell you whether it's 3 or Venn diagram. You try, you choose which one it is and you try to draw it. Okay. Alright. On to next.